All right. Now here we're going to be looking especially at these retrogrades on this natal chart you're looking at. And there's a square they mentioned between Saturn retrograde and Uranus. But we learned on the other video that means tension, so we'll talk about that. But a square definitely means tension. All right. Because we did another video, but it was for the twin. And now we're doing this video. But what I just said, we're looking at the squares, and we're looking at the houses and the retrogrades. And we explained all that. We explained why the 12th house, the first house. So all that was explained in a previous video. But like I said, it's still gonna be similarly because your 12th house became your first house. You have Leo there. And like I said, the whole thing was in a previous life, it was a lot of concern with meism. But Leo likes to take the center stage and everything, Leo now has got to learn in the 12th house. That's part of the lesson in this life and karma. Leo has got to work with other people. Now 11 basically is a master teacher number. In fact, it's 711. So that's interesting because 711 is Spain, because Spain is when the Moors invaded Spain. So let me just I'm going to take a quick look at one thing and see what happens. And Saturn retrograde means it was abusive. That's what it's lack of discipline and usually means abuse. So we'll be looking at that, but I'm more interested right now in 11. Seeing what this says. See, whenever you see like a Saturn retrograde, especially in Leo, that could be abuse. It can even be abuse to children because Leo deals a lot with children. But it's just kind of like just somebody who wants to be first. They want to be in the limelight, and they don't care if that means hurting somebody else to do it. So when the 12th house is telling you you have to put other people ahead of you. But like I said before, but you can't. But at the same time, you still have to be able to tell people no, because once you start helping people, they'll begin to take advantage of you. And it means patience as well, because that's a big one. Like you have to understand, a lot of times people were taught, don't be lazy, or when there's something that needs to be done, get to it. But the truth of the matter is, especially with Saturn retrograde, you have to learn patience, because that means like if you're immediately Handling stuff, that means you're not thinking. So Saturn retrograde means you have to learn patience. Because this type of person, I want to make sure. I want to read what it says. Because Saturn and Jupiter are the two social planets. So Saturn retrograde is a tough taskmaster, but like I said, it can be abusive. Everything you have to work harder, everything takes longer. And they say you got to learn how to be patient, slow down, and do it right the first time. You may have issues with authority. That's what I was looking for. Because Uranus is kind of similar. But it's issues with authority. If you're working on legal matters, they might get delayed. Deadlines may be extended. And you may find yourself working on something you thought you already completed. So all this is Saturn retrograde. So you'll always be in conflict with authority. So again, that lion, that boisterous lion, I'm not going to back down. But it can be abusive. And even sometimes maybe even looking for fights that really don't need to be fights. So in the 12th house, it's all about helping other people, helping them grow, helping them shine with Leo light and things like that. So this person, Saturn retrograde, they may feel persecuted by their boss, management, or they just feel like they always got to stand up for themselves. But really, it's inside of their head. But usually, if you've been through an abusive situation, you feel that way. The moment anybody says anything, because you feel like nobody's ever going to abuse me again. So you might have a manager that is kind of like motivational, but you'll be taking it like, hey, this person's disrespecting me, or this person's trying to bully me. But you're only seeing that because you come from abuse. So either this person was abused by people, or they abuse people. So they have to learn in this life how you do have a right to stand up for yourself. If you feel like anybody abused you or violated you, you do have a right to stand up for yourself. But you also have to be patient, and you have to hold yourself accountable for your actions. In other words, can't be bullying or abusive to other people. And you have to learn patience. And they also say these type of people try to get other people to do their. You should do your own jobs as well. It's how you work. Like if you had a family, don't have the kids do all the work. Like everybody should have assignments and stuff. So you just don't. Anything that's a bullying, that's what your 12th house is telling you. Anything that would be considered a bully, taking advantage of people, you have to really put other people first. Now the good thing about Pallas retrograde is social issues. So you have to care about social issues. And again, we already went over Moon and Virgo. So now you see the Pluto, and yeah, you keep getting that 11. So like I said, that 11 really is just a master teacher. Now, there's different ways to look at that. First, I'm gonna go to my website. My website is prophecy.lastdays. I forget how I did it. prophecylastdays.webs.com. Then there's a tab all the way over to the right that says more, M-O-R-E. When you put your cursor on it, it drop box down. Then you go to natal chart astrology, which is also natal chart numerology. And then you use your find command. And just have to wait a moment because this computer is moving slow. Alright, you use your find command and just type in the number 11. 11. 11 can mean 11. Natal chart numerology 11 can mean mastery or union. after struggle. And that's any twin flame situation. And that struggle can sometimes they struggle together or they struggle apart. Because see, when the universe brings you to your twin, ideally, that is the ideal time to, you know, try to get to know each other, talk. But they'll do stuff to each other. They'll go in separation. They may doubt each other. And they put each other through all this really what I call unnecessary pain and hell. But then then you got to do it by yourself because you're still going to take that lesson. So then the universe is just going to keep beating you up. You might get married and then you find out the guy's no good or whatever. It does not work. And you're still yearning for your twin. And that's why I say you'll still, maybe like mine will call me every now and then or whatever. So the universe is going to keep pushing no matter what you do till you finally get to the point. I'm not getting any younger and life's not changing. And I have to really talk to this person. So that's why it says victory from the fight is 11. So in my opinion, that's the main reason on the natal chart numerology. But it can also mean, man, because you do become the best teacher is the person that actually went through it. The person that just tries to teach you, but they never went through it, they'll never be as experienced because they actually went through it. So that is the master teacher number, but it also breaks down to 2, which is the couple. And that is also the number for the infant, the number 2. And that's what Pisces is. This is in your 12th house of Pisces. Watery sign, infant, feelings. And so with Scorpio. Scorpio is a water sign, feelings. Sound like you asked about, I believe you did say Pluto retrograde and Saturn retrograde. I'm looking at it. Okay, you said Uranus squares, and you said Saturn. I want to look at that again. Because a square is usually like 90 degrees. That could be. But either way, it means tension. But see, you got to remember, if it's a square, then it starts in your 12th house ruled by Pisces. And then, like I said, it gets complicated because that's also your first house as well. Which we really already explained that. Either way, your first house is saying you're a Leo-like, lion-like personality. But still, with that retrograde, it's implying bullying. And you might mean well. Like, you might be a great worker because Saturn could be a great worker. But you have to learn how to see it the way it really is. Because somebody might say, look, I'm a leader. I motivate people. But you're bullying them. And it gets complicated. See, there's always going to be a battle between spirit. Like Saturn is Satan. That's your boss. He wants you there on time. If you got to work more time, he wants you there. Oh, sometimes you got to put your family behind your job. That's Satan. He's the tough taskmaster. But when you're dealing with astrology and spirituality, it's like you don't have to worry about all that stuff because if you just put your spirit first, your needs will be taken care of. But most people don't want just needs. They want more. So they want to serve God or they want to have God in their life, but they also want the nice houses and the big cars and the great toys for their kids. But you're actually battling this war going on. And only that person can make up their own mind what they're going to do. So maybe that's what I see now. That's kind of like going with you. Because this is it's your 12th house, but it's your first house. But if it's your 12th house, you're battling Pisces. And Saturn, the earthy rules Capricorn, earthy, career-minded, career and reputation is battling the spiritual. Hey, put other people first. How about being spiritual? So you got this fight going on, which was your 12th house, but now they made you work on it again because maybe in your last life you didn't really work on it. So now it became your first house. So you still got that same Leo personality, leader and career-minded and tough taskmaster. And like in the career world, they'll love you because you'll put the job first and you're the first at the job or whatever. As soon as you get there, you're ready to go. But in the spiritual world, they're saying, hey, you got to learn how to be compassionate. So that's a battle going on really in your 12th house. And let me see one other thing. And give me a moment because I'm like multitasking, so I got a billion things going on. So Just be careful, because I want to make sure everything gets done on time. Now I'm looking for this other website. Give me a second. Because this is Doreen Virtual, where you have to log into this website. And I want to use her because she like she does 3-digit numerology, and she gets to the point. Sacred Scribes is good, but sometimes that woman goes on and goes on. And sometimes you just need to know what does the number mean. You don't need to know everything. So I want to use Doreen. Give me a moment. All right, so we're looking at the number 711. And this thing is just moving kind of slow, so just give me a moment. Come on, I don't have time for this. All right. Just give me a second. 711, enter. It says continue with your affirmations and visualizations as they're working. So that would be the number 711. That's on your Saturn retrograde, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. All right, now give me another moment because I gotta upload this video. And I'm gonna put this on pause. All right, so now we're gonna continue. Just when I do it, because this person has requested this, she's gonna be doing astrology too. Me personally, I deal with the houses like individually, because when you start going square and all that, like if that's a square, like that house is way over there. I'm sure, but I show you how to connect, because I do it with a house. I don't do it like I would never go. That's just too far. You know, I mean, because Saturn's way over there, but I see where it's both at 11, so I'm sure it's a reason. But I know it just means tension. So I just do an individual. I never will go like, oh, Saturn's way over there, and then that's way over there, and what's the correlation? I never would do that. I go house by house, but it all adds up. And I might do like opposite, like opposing, like the Libras opposing Aquarius, Aries. I might do it that way, but I would never do like Saturn to because I have to make sure it has to connect by some type of by the sign. It has to be some type of connection. And then if I see synchronicities, I'll try to do the numbers like I just did 11. So, but it does mean tension. So it still means struggle, like I said, 11. That's the struggle. But it's a struggle that will bring the twins together. But what I'm trying to tell anybody that's listening, because you have a lot of people in fantasy world that refuse to listen to me. They just want to be in fantasy world. Your twin may come. Your twin may not come. Your twin may come just to wake you up. You guys may stay separated. You guys may continue to hurt each other. You guys may not grow up in this life. And according to the natal chart, you're going to do it all over again to the next life. You're only hurting yourself when you think you're hurting your twin. How could you? Why would you hurt your twin? You're hurting yourself. It's just silly. But that's how this world can be. So that's the tension and the struggle that we talk about. And that's what a square means. Now, So we did it if it was the 12th house. We did it if it was the first house, second, third, which we already talked about communication and why it's hard for relationships, immaturity, short term. We already did that in the other video. And Pluto just means something's going to be taken away at that point. And that's the true north node of this person as well. So part of their life purpose is to have something taken away in the third house. This should have something to do with relationships or social issues, because Libra can be social issues or relationships, contracts, the law, peace and harmony. And Gemini is also about community or brotherhood or social issues. It's a lot like Aquarius. And it's short term. It doesn't want no deep stuff. And again, that's why Pluto will strike you, because when somebody gets struck down, something they really want gets taken from them. It forces you to go deep. It forces you to go internal, because you really wanted that. You really needed that. You really thought you couldn't make it without it. And now the universe is going to take it. But that's what you consider more relationship. Because otherwise, like I said, I just see in a past life, your twin is going to be similar to you. That's why it's going to sound a lot alike. But in a past life, you're dealing with somebody who was just used to doing it on their own. Whereas in this life, they're going to kind of be forced to care more about people, to put people ahead of themselves sometime. And they're going to be forced to be more relationship-minded. And that's what, if you watch these retrogrades, that's kind of what they're doing. And both Pluto and Saturn are lesson teachers. So in the third house, something would be taken away suddenly, but it's going to force you to. It's going to force you to realize you do need a partner, or need a, so maybe care more about social issues and stuff like that. And then that has that number 1334, which is Pluto retrograde. Give me a moment. Alright. $13.34. This thing is just messing up. Because I got a new, ever since I got this new system, it's just hard getting online, and it's just hard staying connected and stuff. And it just sucks because you pay so much more money. But I do see God works it out, though. That's why I don't stress over. Because I see, and plus, they're always changing everything. Sometimes, I'm old school. If it works, let's not always change it all the time. And that's another reason why everything's always messed up, because they're always thinking they're improving it. But if it's not working, if it was working before, I don't care how more modern the technique is. It's not working now. I would have stayed with it was working. Now it's not working. All right, so now the number 1334 is personal creativity. Now remember, this is your third house. This is the house of creativity. Gemini and Leo are the two most creative signs. Now Scorpio is very creative, but on a darker or occultic type, hidden, subconscious type stuff. But as far as just you got the third house and the fifth house ruled by Gemini and Leo. They're very creative. So this is talking about number 1334. Encourages you to use your personal creativity and communication skills. And see, the third house is about communication. That's how you know I got the right count. Because they're talking about creativity and communication. That's Gemini. That's your third house. To use your personal creativity and communication skills in uplifting ways. Why? Because again, we got to stop running over top of people. We have to learn how to uplift people, inspire. That takes you back to Pisces, back to your 12th house. We have the courage to step towards the realization of your dreams. You have the courage to step forward towards the realization of your dreams, knowing that you have all the skills, talents, and abilities within you to achieve your goals and aspirations. Trust that the work you do today will bring benefits to your life in the future. Angel number 1334 is a sign that you are surrounded by angels and the energies of the ascended masters, and your success is guaranteed. The hard work will and effort you have put towards your goals are bringing you do rewards. Be grateful for your blessings and take advantage of the positive energies. Angel number 1334 suggests that the angels, ascended masters, and archangels are infusing your dreams, thoughts, and ideas with divine love, guidance, and healing, using these insights in your light working and healing practices. And Pluto rules Scorpio, which is about healing and probably about the subconscious too. And if you're going to talk about the subconscious, then you're probably going to talk about your dreams as well. And shine your light brightly along your life path and soul journey. And again, whenever you're talking about Leo, which goes back to your 12th house, you're always going to talk about the sun, because the sun rules Leo. You are a powerful being, and you know how to use your strength in loving ways that benefits others as well as yourself. Use your natural communication skills and joyful disposition to uplift others. So that is the theme of your natal chart, is uplift others, because I do believe in a past life you probably was a career-minded person, maybe a Capricorn-minded person, career and reputation, and you probably were darn good at what you did, but you actually didn't give a flying freak too much about other issues. You didn't really care too much about social issues or the people around you. You were on that corporate ladder to get ahead, and you were probably good at what you did. But now they're trying to force you in this lifetime to care about other people, but also to force you and your twin together, despite whether you two may not be together. But the universe is going to keep trying to do it anyway. So that's part of the tension between, which is your 4th house and your now 1st house, but it was your 12th house at one time. And now your 12th house with Cancer and Vesta. Well, Vesta is all about home and spirituality, and that would be, again, family. Spiritual house, family is a higher education, or even a teacher, spiritual teacher. Land and property, real estate, ancestors, the heart, vehicles, and travel is all under Cancer. Cancer rules the 4th house. Now when we go into your 4th house, once again, now you got Uranus. Now we definitely read this. I know we did Uranus retrograde in Scorpio, because they gave you the year of all the changes, and I know it took you to the 1960s when all the alternative stuff came up. But what I'm going to try to do, which I can't really guarantee is going to happen because they don't like doing retrogrades that way, but I'm going to say Uranus retrograde in Scorpio and see what happens. All right. So I really don't want it. Well, let me do it. Let me do this. I really want my astrology book, because I think that's where I found it before. Got it. All right, so I think it was you, to be honest, but Uranus was in Scorpio in 1800s. But it might have been this gentleman I just did. See, a lot of times this stuff comes in patterns. That's how I know this is somebody higher than us doing it. Because I have a lot of Pisces come, and you'll be doing the same stuff. That's why when you see me do that, like, oh, you did my twins chart, it wasn't mine. Yeah, but if you understand, it's so similar. But Uranus was in Scorpio only 7 years since the late 1800s. Okay, so since the late 1800s, Uranus has only been in Scorpio September 75 through November 81. October 1974 to October 1975. So this is a 1970s placement. Uranus is exalted in Scorpio. Scorpio is Uranus's strongest, most creative sign placement, where it expresses its energy in its highest, most positive form. But remember, your Uranus is retrograde, so we're going to have to deal with that. You will be persistent and tremendous. You will find ways to express yourself no matter what. You will be a healer, surgeon, psychologist, as you are able to go deep beneath the surface into the cause of pains and diseases. But it says if your Uranus is afflicted, you will have jealousy, envy, and possessiveness to deal with. Now, the reason why I would kind of tell you to be aware of that, because of what we've been studying, all these retrogrades and stuff. So you may have that going on that you would have to deal with. Can't be, you don't want to be jealous and envious and possessive. Because like a lot of times that's like Lilith and Scorpios like that. They just come to a bad conclusion, and then that's not even true. And Scorpio loves to think negative. Like Scorpios like Neptune. Like if they see anything, like if you leave it up to them to come to the conclusion, it's gonna be negative. And they're like, and then they'll get very vindictive, and they'll be planning on you, and you won't even know it. Like I said, if you're a guy, I'm just using it because this is the best way I can say it. If you have a female that's a Scorpio, and you're a guy, and you just happen to come home and there's some hair on your thing, looking like woman's hair on your collar, you could forget, on your shirt or whatever, you could forget it. It doesn't, like, it's gonna be hell. You have to prove that it's gonna be hell, because either she's gonna do two, maybe three things. She's either gonna attack you with it, what's going on about, or she ain't gonna say shit. She's just gonna get you back, payback. But she'll just hold it inside of you or whatever, or she'll become real suspicious. Very few will sit down and say, okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I see hair on you. I know you work around a lot of people, but I just don't know why hair would be on your thing, and I wanna talk about it. Most of them ain't gonna do that. So you won't even know what's going on with her, or who's ever a Scorpio. So this placement demands personal growth and regeneration, because you're morally capable of the highest or lowest behavior. You have to choose which one you're going to follow. You have to join passion with compassion. So they keep telling you about compassion, and that keeps taking you back to your 12th house, especially. And you can't be resentment. You have to give way to understanding, and you can't be just assuming somebody did something. You didn't even talk to them. You're just so sure. Now, the funny thing about Scorpio, sometimes they're right. They got some supernatural understanding where they know stuff that there's no way they can possibly know, but they do know. So you have to be very careful with a Scorpio. But a Scorpio has to realize that you can still be wrong. And what people have to understand is that if that Scorpio is in your sign, in that house, then in that house, that is your sign in that house. So don't say, well, I'm not a Scorpio. That's not my sun sign or my moon sign. It's not my rising sign. That don't mean nothing. In that house, you're a Scorpio. That's your Scorpio energy is in that house. That I believe that's your 4th house. In general, many individuals with this placement are innovative in sexual matters, anything taboo, and have insight into what makes our darker side tick. The mystical, the occult, and the drugs hold your interest. And I always warn against that drug stuff, because you really mess yourself up when you get caught up into drugs and addiction. But that is another Scorpio tone, especially when you see retrogrades. All right, now we're going to do Uranus retrograde, because that's what we really want. But I'm going to do it a couple of ways, because I'm really going to try to find it. I think we already did it. No, please go. All right, so we're going to read this for Uranus retrograde. Again, I know you heard this before. We're still going to read it again. Expect the unexpected. Surprises come out of nowhere. They can be wonderful or undesirable, depending on the situation. Uranus is the eyeball of the planet in our solar system. It can bring whims of fancy that amaze and amuse, or it can come with chaos, either externally in the world or internally in the individual. So if you're wild, you'll all of a sudden become quiet, an introvert. If you're an introvert, you'll all of a sudden become wild, very unpredictable, person. But to be honest with you, now this is just Uranus. This is just Uranus retrograde. But Scorpio can be like that too. Scorpio can be a very unpredictable sign. Very emotional, very watery. So Uranus retrograde will make you behave very differently. But you also have to understand, anything with Uranus, what we just told you with Scorpio, that's like taking stuff that's in the 8th house. But Uranus is very like not common, not expected. Like when people come up with higher ways of doing stuff. Like just, I'm just making this up. But that's a Uranus thing though. Like when people can just talk to each other without no stuff in their ear or nothing, because that's higher technology. Like now, some people can do that because that's 8th house anyway. Some people can do that. That's called telepathy. So some people can already do that. Like I used to do it with my friend Talia in Cali. I would just go sit by the phone and she'd call. Me and Talia is awesome. Even I met her in 1994. Now Talia has had every horrible thing you can do to a person has been done to Talia through her whole life. But I know she's some type of earth angel. Now, she has fought death situations so many times, I probably can't count it all on both my hands. Since 1994, she has been told so many times, this operation is going to kill you. This operation, you're probably not going to make it out of this operation. This operation, if it doesn't kill you, it's going to kill that baby. You need to abort that baby because this operation is going to kill either you or the baby. And she would go, no. And she said no. And then when the baby was born, there was no doctor. She was on her hospital bed, and when she woke up, that baby was in between her legs. Now, this stuff is verifiable. First off, she's my best friend, so no way in hell I'm going to lie on my best friend. I'm a Leo. We're loyal. The second thing is, you can see, if you can find Guinness's Book of World Records, she came on television as having the world's largest tumor back in around 2000, when the Guinness's Book of World Records used to come on television. So that's how you know this woman really exists. Now, she had a recent operation where they told her, okay, we had to cut around your heart. There's no way you're going to live. And that's when I showed up. Because me and her, we've been friends for a long time, but we've been separated a long time. But the universe knows what she needs. Because I'm like her coach. Because like every time, I got female friends. I was going to say girlfriends, but they're not my girlfriends. I got female friends who, when they were on their deathbeds, because one of my friends got shot up. And they on the deathbeds, and the doctor's going, what can we do to make you feel better? They're going, Gary. So I'm like a coach to them. So I show up, and she's like, oh, she's crying. And she's on Facebook crying, talking about, oh, I'm going in this operation, and they told me they're going to cut around my heart, and I'm going to die. I started laughing. I said, girl, ain't nobody. I said, the devil been trying to kill you since 1994. I said, the devil can't kill you. I said, you're going to be fine. And then that made her feel better. She's still alive. And to tell you what's really supernatural about this woman, I was talking to her a week or two ago. And she said something to me, and I said, you don't remember. I said, you've been in so many operations, you probably don't remember this. And she said, I remember. And I said, ain't no way in hell this female remember this, because all them operations she done had. Not only did she remember it, but she starts talking about when we first met in 1994 and all the bullshit we was doing and stuff. And I just busted out laughing, like, how can she remember all this shit after all those operations? So what I'm trying to tell you, all that is Scorpio 8th house stuff, and it's higher than planet Earth. Because that stuff, nobody can go through that many operations and live, but she's done it. That's in the records. So all that is supernatural, but there's also people working on sciences. Because believe me, there is a technology that could have you talking to people on the other side of the world without no stuff and none of that shit. They got the technology. And I'm not talking about supernatural telekinesis or telepathy. I'm talking about they could put something small in they could put some type of small thing in you and put something small in that person, and y'all can communicate. And then they're going to find out a way to how to channel it to other people. Just like now, you could tell your phone, call Bill. It'll call Bill. Okay, call Jesse. Your phone will just do it. Some of these phones are doing it now. So that Uranus and Scorpio is like that. But now you just have to realize what it means in retrograde. So it says for your past life, if Uranus is in your chart, you probably live your life to the extreme in many aspects. So what they're trying to tell you is you're either hot or cold. You don't know a middle ground. So you have to learn that. And see, remember, Scorpio is a very powerful planet, and so is Pluto. So whenever a planet rules a sign, they're still connected no matter what house they're in. So wherever your Pluto is, your Pluto retrograde, it's still going to be connected to that Scorpio in this 4th house. So you have to learn the middle ground. And they also say you were some type of revolutionary. So you may have been a revolutionary in a past life. That's why you're always ready to take on authority, or if somebody says something to you, you're ready to stand up for yourself. So they're saying you have to learn compromise to work with people. And they said it again, learning compassion. Almost everywhere we go, they're saying learning compassion. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. I just get the feeling that in the past life or whatever, maybe even in this life, you're good at what you do, but they want you to learn more about people. And I can understand that because I'm kind of like that too. And sometimes it's difficult working with people because people have their own way of doing things. Now, my background is totally spiritual. You understand? So I'm not going to disobey God. But if you're going to work with people, you better get used to it, because that's what you're going to see. People mean well, but they have their own way of looking at life. But you may know, well, that's against what the scriptures say. But unfortunately, that's the way it is. So you gotta know how far you'll go. But I do. Like, I know God. I have a personal relationship with God. So I'm not going but so far. That's why you hear me say I mind my business. In other words, I don't agree with what they're doing, but it is what it is, and I'm not God. So I learned how to mind my business. But if you're going to be around people, you are going to hear a lot of stuff that you don't like and you don't agree with, and see stuff that you don't, especially if they call themselves like Christians or whatever. You say, well, that's not Christian. But it's not really your place. And that's why things happen in this world. Like, a lot of people that are goody two-shoes, and you wonder why everything is so fucked up. But that's because God's trying to teach you something. Like, read the book of Job. He was the most righteous man on the planet. So instead of God telling the devil to attack somebody else, he tells the devil to attack Job. Why would God encourage the devil to attack Job when Job was already righteous? Because God was teaching Job something about people, human nature, and Job needed to learn how to just grow with God and don't worry about everybody, because Job was worrying about everybody's business. And God said, that's my job. And Job should have spent more time getting to know God. So that's what that was all about. Job was he meant well. He didn't know no better. He thought to be righteous, you had to be out caring about your neighbors and over everybody's house and helping everybody. And God was like, no, that's my job. How are these people going to learn to serve me if you're always jumping there before I get there? Before they pray to me, you're already over there solving their problems for them. So God was mad about that. So you have compassion, but compassion also means people have to learn how to serve God on their own. So you help them out a little bit, but then they still have to learn. But you don't just run over top of people. You just don't give a damn. Oh, I'm going to get my car. I'm traveling all over the world this year. I'm going to be on boats and planes and blah, blah, blah. Because now that person has become very selfish. Now God is going to look at that person and say, okay, let the retrogrades teach that person how to be more compassionate, because if they don't care. So it's like, I would call it a thin line. But again, when you have a personal relationship with God, you don't have to worry about all that, because he'll tell you. And that's what he tried to tell Job, because Job kept going, I didn't know you. I didn't know you. But that was Job's fault, because that same energy Job was using to help everybody, he should have been doing it to learn about God. And if he had done that, there would have been no need for Job to lose everything, because that was a Pluto retrograde. It took everything, his family, his money, everything. And it took it like in less than a day. It was all gone that quick. That's a Pluto retrograde. So the astrology is in the Bible. So that's why I try to teach people, these are things you have to learn. So it also helps you realize people have different views than yours. So like I said, I'm not necessarily going to agree with their views, but it's none of my business. And it's not for me to judge them, and not for me to act a certain way. And I'll try to get along with people as best I can. But like me, I would never say, my earlier part of my life, I was always in some type of religious building, but it just got to be too much, because it's too much hypocrisy, way too much. And I have to grow spiritually too. See, what I'm doing now is my life calling. What I'm doing now is my mission. And if you notice, I won't stop it. No matter how many views I lose, no matter how much I lose, I know what I'm preaching is the truth. And I'm not going to bend it because people don't want to live up to it. Because they can stay in their fantasy world. They can keep chasing all this stuff that's out here. But you're never going to get with your twin and all that stuff as long as you're in some fantasy. This is real stuff. This is universal laws and principles and stuff. It's not about going to a person's YouTube channel and leaving a comment talking about, I feel my divine twin. Everybody feels their twin. Are you getting any closer to your twin? What does that mean? Like, I saw you 7 months ago and you wrote the same comment. Has there been any progress? Or they called one time and hung up. Oh, wow, great. So you got to work on it. It's not just being out here in fantasy land. What are you doing? Are you studying? Are you learning? Are you working on? They don't even want their natal chart. Why? Oh, I don't like his tone. But your natal chart is your gift from God. Or I'll go get it from somebody else. But somebody else isn't teaching you about twin flames. God knows what he's doing. You might get your natal chart and get a couple of information off of it. But these people don't know nothing about all this stuff I be teaching. So stop fighting against God. Because of the more you fall back in line with what God's telling you to do, that's why her everything starts at her 12th house, which became her first house. That's God making a point. That's the spirit. Pisces. So when you start to bring your life back in harmony, things work themselves out. Now, maybe you and your twin get together, or maybe you don't. Maybe you find somebody else that's more for you in this life. You understand? Because you're learning how to just submit to the universe. But you still have confidence in yourself. You still learn how to talk to people and stuff like that, so you can be in a relationship if that's what you want. But to sit there waiting for your twin and all that foolishness, that's just silly. If the universe is doing its job, your twin will come to you. And all these running, every time somebody drops a twin flame video, you got to hear it and study it and read it and leave a comment. You should be studying your natal chart, or you should be studying your goals or something that's going to help you connect with your twin. Not on everybody's channel, because that's just silly. That's like you say, I want to build a house, so this is how you build your house. Every YouTube video that comes out on house building, you go to the video. But you never start building your own house. That's just silly. And that's why Job got in trouble. So that's what that's about. So they're telling you to choose your battles wisely. And that structure is not really bad. And sometimes it can be required. So you have to choose your, and was the person really being a bully, or maybe are you just dealing with something within yourself? See, these are things you would have to come to. Now, I want to just look at everything real quick. So we already went over everything else on this chart. A highly psychic person, things like, we went over everything else. And their twin is a lot like them. Because if you see the vertex, you see that vertex is in Capricorn. Well, Capricorn is real serious, just like Saturn. But sometimes it can be too serious. So it's just to learn compassion. But still, you still got to have your spot, though. Never let people run over top of you. But just that, not be so insecure to think you got to have it all, or, stuff like that. You just got to know how to tell people, okay, I helped you, but no, I'm not able to do that. Because people will take advantage of you if they know they can get away with it. So you do help people, but not so much. And that's why I said the Archangels had to teach me how to do this. And I'm glad they did. There's certain things I can do, and there's certain things I can't do. And it's universal law. That's a bottom line. Just like this person, when I met him, I don't remember because I've been moving so fast, I've been doing so much. So I'm not going to remember everything, I don't think. And I know it was recently, but I'll be doing so much. But they met him, and they didn't play. Like, they were the fastest person I ever seen, like, do this. Like, they contacted me, and so I didn't know if they understood. So I was like, well, listen to some videos first, like, because I'm not trying to push this. This is not marketing for me. I'm trying to help people. So I told them, listen to some videos so you know what this is all about. Because they said somebody else referred them. But I didn't know if they really knew what I did. I said, listen. And then they just immediately sent the payment to get started. And it was fast. It was like, I said, what type of high speed? I said, do they have high speed? I said, because this person is really fast. And I was cracking jokes like, how fast is this person moving and stuff? So then I did one reading, whatever happened with that. And so then they said, okay, they asked me some more questions. I said, okay, no problem, no problem. I said, well, look at that first and see what's going on. And they said, yeah, I'm having some problems with my computer. I'll get back to you. I said, all right. So Monday morning, they were here because it's Monday now. Well, whatever it was. But they got right back to me. It was like over the weekend. They said they would get right back to me over the weekend, and they did. It's not Monday now, but when it started, it was Monday. And then it's like Friday now, I think. And so I just went to the church. I don't know how that happened, but see, this stuff happens all the time. I keep telling you, it's not just me, it's the universe. And I see this kind of stuff all the time. And I go out of my way because I hate mistakes, man, because I be busy. I'm not trying to double work. But it happens. It's the universe. So then I think I did twins chart. But it was almost the same thing, almost. And so they was like, well, thanks a lot, but that was my twins chart. And so I said, all right. So then I said, all right, I'm gonna do yours again. But they had already put, like, they had already did it. They had already gave me like a gift, you know, even before that. So like people that really understand this realize, first off, I'm underpaying myself. I'm undercharging to try to help people, you know, because I could just make the prices higher and just wait around because I know people that do that. And I do try to help people, and I do got people. I get people that hit me sometimes. Some female was going through hell. She ain't have no kind of money, but she was just having a badass day, and she just sent me an email. So I just sent her a video from my other site, my spiritual site, you know. So I try to help, but I can't help everybody because you get so many people that think you're just gonna do everything for free. Listen, lights gotta stay on, bills gotta get paid. And how dare you just assume somebody's going to stop everything to help you with your life and you ain't trying to give nothing back. You know, we don't do that here. I used to do that. It was the Archangels that told me to stop. I told you my background is spiritual. For well over 40 years, that's all I ever did. Sacrifice everything for other people. And then Archangel said, you got bad karma. I said, how do I got bad karma? I'm helping everybody. They said, you got bad karma because you never asked for anything back. Karma is give and receive, receive and give. It's not just keep giving. So if people don't understand that, they don't need to be talking to me, because now I have no patience for people that come with that silly stuff. It's just silly, and I don't have no patience whatsoever. Like if you want the universe to help you, give something back to the universe. If you're on somebody's channel all the time, listening to the video, stealing the information, and never give back, you're going to be cursed. And I told a lot of people that. Like my neighbor just went out on a emergency. All my neighbors be doing dirty stuff, but they be all getting it, like for real. And like I'm getting ready to do a video on my other channel on that. All my neighbors around me that did dirty stuff towards me, they all get it. And I don't do that. I don't put no curse on nobody. I don't do nothing crazy. I just let the angels take care of it. You can't be doing dirty stuff and thinking it's not going to come back to you. That's universal law. It's called karma. So that's why you take your natal chart seriously. You make sure you get your natal chart. You make sure you have somebody like me that knows how to explain it, especially if you're looking for twin flame stuff, and especially if they make sure they know how to explain retrogrades and how that all that stuff you need to know, because that's what you're really supposed to be working on. Now, the negative energy that people like to call the devil, it's going to lie to you. It's going to tell you, oh, no, everything's okay. Oh, you don't need that. Like when somebody says, I know this is my twin. How do you know it's your twin? Oh, well, I had a dream and blah, blah, blah. Have you ever gotten a natal chart? No, and I'm not going to get one. I don't need it, blah, blah, blah. And then the same people, time goes by, and then they finally get around to the natal chart, and then they find out that person they thought was their twin is not their twin. I see that all the time. Stop trying to think you know more than God, and stop thinking you know more than your natal chart. And I like I said, if you're really working on a twin flames union, then work on it. Stop running to everybody's video. I mean, have a certain channel that you resonate with or something. But why do you have to see every video that comes out on twin? That's just silly. That's like I said, you're running to every video on building a house, but you never build your own house. So it takes a little maturity and a little bit of growing up. But for people that do get it, they will grow. Now, when it comes to my best friend Talia, I was like a big brother to her, starting back in 1994. And we've had our ups and downs. We haven't talked for years, and somehow we come back in contact and stuff. But that was one of my best times with her. Was a week or two ago that she remembered 1994, how this all started with our friendship. That was so beautiful. It hit me so hard at that time. So that's what I'm talking about. That's what all this is about. When you fall in line with what the universe is trying to tell you, you won't be thinking you know more than me. You're not going to know more than me, because God has prepared me for what I do. It's just the bottom line. And that's why if you notice, I use words that you don't see nobody else using. I use styles and techniques you don't see nobody else, because I've been prepared by God. I've come up with so many names and phrases that I was shocked that nobody else had them. But you either believe it or you don't. I can't help you, because if you don't believe it, it's probably because you're still in third dimension and you're hard-headed. You got to break that, because you're only hurting you. You're not hurting me. Like I said, when I get sick, I get holy healing. You understand? God heals me. I don't see no emergency trucks pulling up carrying me out of here. Last time I walked in an emergency truck was when somebody hit me on a head-on collision, and I walked in that emergency truck. My finger was cut because of the emergency bag. I walked in, answered their questions, and walked right back out. You understand? Now the car, everything total. Both of the cars was total. They had to drag the cars out of there, but I walked out of that. So I don't. And that's the second time in a couple of years I've been in 2 accidents that could have killed me. But I put my trust in God. I'm not out here to play games. You know what? You want love in your life, put God back in your life. Stop being disobedient. Get your natal chart, because your natal chart is from God to you on how your life is going to go. And just deal with it. Deal with your retrogrades, deal with everything else, and work your way through it. Stop listening to the devil who tells you, oh, it's all about love. Don't worry about nothing else. Or you're going to heaven no matter what you do, and stop listening to those lies. If that was true, you wouldn't have no karma. You wouldn't have no retrogrades. If that was true, if no matter what you do, you're still going to go and be with God, there'll be no such thing as karma and retrogrades, and you wouldn't need the 12th house. And why is the 12th house the spiritual house with Pisces, which represents like the Messiah and all that? God knows what he's doing. Just get, God bless.